welcome back to the deep dive. So you came to us with a stack of material and really just a single goal.
Right.
Cutting through all the noise to understand the mental foundation you actually need to finally start investing.
Exactly. We're not looking at specific stocks today or market trends.
Oh,
Instead, this deep dive is focused entirely on the internal software.
software, yeah.
The beliefs, the fears, the rules, all the stuff that determines whether you succeed or fail before you even log into a brokerage account.
So our mission here is to give you that essential investor's mindset, the counterintuitive truths that separate the long-term builder from, say, the panicked speculator.
And we have a set of core principles, a really vital glossary, and a direct head-on challenge to the four most common myths that keep people stuck on the sidelines.
And it all starts with this central conflict, which I think is summed up perfectly in the material. It's a Tony Robbins quote.
The greatest risk is doing nothing.
That one line, it just sets the stage for everything, doesn't it?
It does. This is all about identifying and breaking the chains that keep your money passive, where it's just slowly being eroded by that invisible enemy, inflation.
That completely shifts the focus. It's not about potential gain anymore. It's about the guaranteed loss if you just stagnate. So let's unpack this investor's mindset.
Okay.
If we're signing up for this financial marathon, how should we approach the starting line mentally?
Well, mental prep is step 1, 2, and 3. I mean, the sources frame investing specifically as a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
The success isn't about one heroic trade. It's about endurance and your strategy. If you think you can sprint to the finish line, you're probably going to burn out or crash.
I like that focus on endurance because it implies there were going to be hills and dips, right? The terrain is going to change. So what are the key mental muscles we need to build to handle that volatile terrain without just quitting?
There are 4 non-negotiables. First, you have to accept volatility.
Which is so much easier said than done.
It is. But volatility isn't a sign that something's broken. It's really just the price of admission. The price moves up and down. If you panic every time you see a dip, you will lose the marathon, period.
Okay, but how do you practically accept it? My portfolio drops 10% in a week. My gut is screaming, get out.
Yeah.
How do the sources say we should override that panic button?
Well, that's the second trait. Discipline.
Okay.
Discipline means you consistently follow a set strategy, one you've researched. Rather than reacting to every news headline or emotional whim, you have to pre-commit to a system.
Right.
And the third trait is related. You just cannot predict the market.
It's a fool's errand.
It is. You are not smarter than the collective intelligence of millions of people all over the world, so don't even try.
So if you can't predict the market, you have to focus on what you can control, your process.
Precisely. And the last trait is a commitment to continuous learning. And part of that is accepting that errors are normal. You will make mistakes.
Oh, for sure.
But they're only failures if you don't learn from them. Just treat every mistake as tuition paid for a future lesson.
That's the ideal state of mind. So now let's flip it. Let's look at the dark side. If those are the ingredients for success, what are the immediate pitfalls that cause new investors to just stumble and quit?
We can contrast that good mindset with the critical errors our sources warn against.
Yeah.
The biggest pitfalls, they're all driven by impatience and not having a safety net. For instance, never, ever invest everything at once without that cushion.
You're just asking for trouble.
You're asking for ruin if the market immediately corrects. Your emergency fund has to be sacred, untouchable.
Right. That safety net lets you ride out those drops without being forced to sell at a loss.
Exactly. Second big one. Never invest money you need in the short term. If you know you need that cash in the next 2 or 3 years for, say, a down payment, it does not belong in volatile assets like stocks. The timeline has to match.
So if the money needs to be liquid and safe, it stays out of the market.
It's a critical distinction. And the third mistake, and maybe the most destructive, is emotional. It's selling your assets in a panic when prices drop.
The classic buy high, sell low trap.
It is. Fear takes over. You liquidate everything because you can't stand seeing red numbers, and you just turned a temporary paper loss into a permanent real loss.
But hold on. If volatility is normal, how do you know the difference between a dip and something, catastrophic, like a 2008 event? How do we navigate that real fear?
The guidance is structural. It comes back to discipline and diversification, which we'll get to. If your strategy is diversified and you have a long time horizon, market panic is just noise.
Right.
The moment you start changing your strategy based on emotion, that's the fourth mistake, you've lost.
So the key isn't just what you buy, but protecting your plan from your own reactions.
Yes. And finally, avoid trying to beat the market without some serious professional experience.
Don't be a hero.
Right. Trying to find that next hidden gem or timing the market perfectly is just speculation. Focus on consistency.
Okay, that gives us a clear roadmap for the mindset. Now let's talk about the real-world barriers. For a lot of people, the fight isn't the market, it's just getting off the couch. Let's get into those psychological chains the material talks about.
These false beliefs are so powerful because they feel like facts. They feel real. But they're really just self-imposed limits.
The first one is the most common, and maybe the easiest to demolish. Myth number 1. You must be rich to invest.
Absolutely not. It's a historical myth from a time before digital access. The source material is blunt, false. You just need to start.
It changes investing from this exclusive club into just an accessible habit. The sources say you can lay the first stone with, what, 10 euros?
Yeah, 10 euros, $10. The barrier to entry is gone. It's not about how much you start with. It's about the decision to start.
And that small, consistent start builds the habit of discipline.
Which is way more important than the amount itself.
All right, myth number 2 addresses complexity. You must be an expert.
Not necessary. While learning is vital, the sources are clear that understanding a few basic principles, like the ones we're talking about, is enough to avoid the major traps.
So you don't need to pick stocks, you need to pick a strategy.
That's it. Okay, myth number 3 gets right at the fear. Investment is too risky.
Right.
And this is where we have to talk about inflation. The material points out that not investing is far riskier.
Because your money's just sitting there losing value.
It's getting nibbled away every single day. The sources use that great term. It gridyachts your savings. If your cash is sitting still, it's losing purchasing power.
That reframes the whole thing. The danger isn't the market going up and down. The bigger danger is the silent, guaranteed loss over time.
Precisely. Time is the one asset you can't get back.
Which brings us right to myth number 4, the universal excuse. I don't have the time.
We all feel it, but the truth, according to the sources, is that you can't afford not to take the time. They offer a really pointed challenge. A few well-invested hours, and we mean hours, not weeks, can transform your life for decades.
And they gave that super relatable example. If you scrolled Instagram for an hour last night, the time is there.
It's available. It's just a matter of decision, a choice of where to invest your most valuable resource, your time. It's a sharp, necessary reality check.
So we've got the mindset, we've busted the myths. Now that the path is clear, let's get into the actionable principles. If we're going to run this marathon, what's the training guide?
This is where we bring in the wisdom of Benjamin Graham, one of the greats.
The father of value investing.
Right. And he gives us a choice. In the stock market, you have 2 choices. Get rich slowly or get poor quickly. The focus has to be on the slowly part.
That quote just perfectly sums up discipline over speculation. So what are the golden rules from the material that we need to apply right away?
Rule number 1, invest only in what you understand.
The circle of competence.
Exactly. If you can't explain the business model, you shouldn't own the asset. It keeps you away from complicated, sketchy schemes.
Okay, what's next?
Rule 2, time is key. You have to start early to leverage the monumental power of compound interest.
So this is the engine, right?
It is. It's the mechanism where your gains start earning their own gains. The difference between starting at 25 versus 35 is just staggering.
It's what makes starting small, but starting now, so incredibly powerful.
It's the engine that needs consistency, not brilliance. Rule number 3, diversify your placements to limit your risk.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
It's that simple. Spread your money across different investment sectors, geographies, asset types, so if one part of the market falls apart, you don't lose everything.
If one spoke on the wheel breaks, the whole wheel doesn't collapse.
Precisely. Rule number 4 is a bit counterintuitive. Crises often present good opportunities.
Yes. Be greedy when others are fearful.
It's that idea. When the news is terrifying and prices drop, disciplined investors with cash on hand can often buy high-quality assets at a huge discount. It requires going against the herd.
Which leads to Rule 5. Focus on what you keep, not just what you gain.
Yes. Net returns are what matter. A big return that gets eaten by high fees or taxes is misleading. Always look at what actually ends up in your pocket.
It's easy to forget about those fees.
Absolutely. And finally, 2 critical points. 1, risk and return go together, but risk is manageable. And 2, maybe most importantly, do not blindly follow the advice of your bank.
Why not?
Their interests selling you a product might not align perfectly with your interests, which is maximizing your wealth. Your choices have to be your own.
Which requires education. And that brings us perfectly to decoding the jargon. Investing can be so intimidating just because of the language.
Oh, for sure. Eliminating fear starts with eliminating ambiguity. Once you get the terms, the anxiety just starts to melt away.
Let's do a quick round. First, the big one. Asset versus a liability.
Super clear definition in the source. An asset puts money in your pocket. Think a dividend stock or a rental property.
And a liability takes money out.
It makes you spend. Credit card debt, a car payment. It's a simple distinction that changes how you view everything.
Okay, next. Compound interest.
That's the miracle engine. It's when your money earns money, and then that money starts earning money too. It's what makes time your greatest ally.
All right, what about the word rendement?
That's the technical term in the material. It just translates to return. It's what your investment brings back as a percentage. It's the scorecard for how hard your money is working.
Got it. And the big scary one, volatility.
Volatility is just the speed and size of price movements.
Yeah.
When a price moves a lot, up or down, that's volatility. It's normal. A disciplined investor sees it as inevitable, not a crisis.
And finally, the silent killer. The reason we're even having this conversation. Inflation.
Inflation is the general rise in prices. It just means your money buys less than it did before. It's why saving cash long-term is actually a guaranteed way to lose purchasing power.
Before we move on, I have to share this one fun detail from the glossary. It was too good to skip.
Oh, I know what you're going to say, Tabby.
Tabby, the loyal, calm Swiss white shepherd.
The mascot of emotional stability.
Apparently he barks whenever he hears the term ETF, an exchange-traded fund, because he thinks it means it's time to go for a walk.
A very necessary reminder that the simple things, like a consistent walk or consistent investing, are what really matter.
It is. Okay, so now we move to section 5, and this is maybe the most important point of all.
The necessity of independent thought and taking responsibility.
Right. We've given the principles, but you, the investor, have to take ownership. There's a great Charlie Munger quote in here.
Take ideas from wherever they are, but use your own brain to put them together.
That's the core message.
It is. The sources are so clear that everything we've talked about, this deep dive, all the material, it's for education only. It is not, and it cannot be, personalized investment advice.
And that's not just bureaucratic fine print.
No, it's the reality of the market.
So what are the absolute non-negotiable disclaimers that everyone listening needs to internalize before they do anything?
First, that markets are uncertain, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Any investment involves a risk of losing your money. You are solely responsible for your choices.
The imperative, then, is crystal clear. You have to do your own research. You have to consider your personal situation, your goals, and critically, your own tolerance for risk.
Exactly. Your time horizon and your personal comfort with volatility, those have to dictate your choices. A 60-year-old nearing retirement can't have the same portfolio as a 25-year-old.
And if you're in doubt,
You must consult a certified professional.
this has been a powerful deep dive. We've really just focused on building that mental foundation. We've established that the decision to invest is really about mindset and breaking those 4 myths.
The biggest takeaway is that while the market is uncertain, the greatest financial risk you face is truly doing nothing, just letting inflation eat away at your future.
And this is where it gets really interesting as we close out. We've mostly talked about investing cash, but the source material mentions this advanced concept
The leverage.
that credit can accelerate your enrichment if it finances an asset.
Right. That idea shifts the focus from passively growing your money to actively using financial tools to acquire income-producing assets. You're using OPM, other people's money, to build wealth.
So as you walk away from this deep dive, consider this powerful thought. How might that concept, using leverage to acquire assets that generate cash flow, rather than just liabilities that drain it, how might that fundamentally change your approach to every big financial decision in your life? We'll leave you with that.